There's no one-size-fits-all approach to creating a successful fundraising strategy and plan.
People are nervous, right? It's a big deal. We're raising $10 million, even if we're raising $1 or $3 million, depending on the size of the org.
Major gift fundraising is not deadline driven. It really is probably the only type of fundraising, along with planned giving, that is not deadline driven.
AI comes on the scene that's affordable, accessible, that can provide insights and personalization at scale.
That's the first core element of this fundraising engine or funnel, is making sure that the top of your funnel, the beginning of your fundraising process, you are in front of the right people.
What do the people we serve need? And how do we open the door to help them get there?
What happens a lot of times is we get this discomfort or this fear, and our brain tells our body to stop.
We can acquire donors and we can automate everything. And that's where I worry, at least personally, around the perils of AI, that it would remove humans from the interaction.
This is the Intentional Fundraiser podcast.
Have you ever wondered why, despite all our passion and hard work, the nonprofit sector still struggles with burnout, division, and donor fatigue? What if the real solution isn't choosing sides, but coming together as heroes, each with a vital role to play in transforming the world? I'm Tammy Zonker, your host, and you're listening to the Intentional Fundraiser podcast, where we explore the strategies, stories, and mindsets that empower you to raise more money, create deeper impact, and lead with purpose. Today's episode is a special one. We're diving into the heart of my first book, Calling All Heroes, combining the best of donor-centered and community-centered fundraising for greater impact. I'll share why I wrote this book, the pain points we all know too well, and, most importantly, how we can move beyond old debates to build a truly human-centered approach to fundraising. So whether you're a major gift officer, executive director, board member, or passionate volunteer, program manager, doctor, parent, relative, recipient of services, this episode is for you. Because in this work, we're all heroes. Let me take you back nearly 3 decades. Picture a young, eager fundraiser, me, stepping into a sector brimming with promise. I was surrounded by brilliant colleagues, major gift officers, development directors, executive directors, and board members, all striving for the same goal. Yet, beneath the surface, I felt the weight of our challenges, the isolation of going it alone, the frustration when well-intentioned debates divided us, just when unity was needed most. Sound familiar? If you've ever felt that tug of war between donor-centered and community-centered fundraising, or wrestled with burnout and mission drift, you're not alone. These aren't just my stories. They're our stories. Let's name the dragons we're facing. Division over fundraising models. Our sector often feels split. Donor-centered versus community-centered. Passionate advocates on both sides, but sometimes the debate itself drains our energy and distracts us from our shared mission. Another dragon, mission drift and power imbalances. I have seen organizations chase major gifts so hard they lose sight of their core mission or the dignity of those they serve. Another is burnout and turnover. The relentless pressure to do more with less leaves many of us exhausted. Staff turnover remains stubbornly high. Lack of diversity and inclusion is yet another dragon. Despite our best intentions, too many teams and boards still don't reflect the communities we serve, limiting our effectiveness. I'll share one more dragon. Measuring what matters. We're often so focused on fundraising totals that we forget the deeper, human-centered impact on donors, beneficiaries, and communities alike. Raise your hand, literally or figuratively, if you've experienced any of these. I know I have. Let's pause for a moment. Think about your organization. Which of these pain points resonates most with you right now? If you're listening with a team, take a minute to share. If you're solo, jot it down. Awareness is the first step to change. Over the years, I've learned that the most effective solutions are both practical and rooted in empathy. Here are a few strategies that have truly moved the needle. The first strategy is to blend the best of fundraising approaches, not choose sides. Imagine a bridge spanning two islands, one donor-centered, the other community-centered. The strongest organizations don't pick a side, they build that bridge. It's what we refer to as human-centered fundraising. It's about honoring donors' motivations while ensuring community needs and voices are central to every decision. Think of it like a symphony. Donors, staff, community members, family, and especially those receiving services. Each has a unique instrument. Only when we play together do we create music that moves the world. Strategy number 2 is build diverse and collaborative teams. Here's a truth I've seen again and again. When everyone has a seat at the table, across race, age, background, and lived experience, innovation flourishes and donor engagement deepens. At the Children's Center in Detroit, we intentionally built a high-performing, diverse development team. Not only did we triple philanthropy in 3 years and double it again in the next 6, but we also transformed our philanthropic culture. Donors, staff, families, board, and community members felt seen, heard, and valued as partners in the mission. The next strategy is transparent communication and power sharing. Transparency isn't just a buzzword, it's a superpower. I've learned to embrace honest conversations with donors, even when it means gently correcting misconceptions or pushing back on ideas that don't align with our mission. It's not always easy, but it builds trust and keeps our purpose front and center. Think of your organization as a ship. Donors may help steer, but it's your job to keep the compass pointed toward your true north. The last strategy I'll share is leverage technology without losing the human touch. AI and digital tools can free us from repetitive tasks and help personalize donor engagement at scale. But the magic happens when technology amplifies rather than replaces authentic relationships. Did you know that 82% of fundraisers are now comfortable using AI for outreach, but 63% remain cautious about authenticity? It's a reminder. Technology is a tool, not a substitute for genuine connection. I want you to try something right now. Take out your phone or notebook. List 3 ways your organization currently uses technology in fundraising. Now ask yourself, are these tools helping you build deeper relationships or just making things more efficient? What's one way you could add a more personal touch? Let's ground this conversation in the facts. The first fact is donor retention rates are alarmingly low. According to the Fundraising Effectiveness Project, only 19% of first-year donors gave again in 2024, and fewer than 50% of second-year donors continued. That's a costly cycle for all of us. Another fact is diversity drives results. Organizations with 3 or more BIPOC fundraisers are significantly more likely to adopt community-centric practices and see positive shifts in revenue and morale. I'll share one more. AI adoption is rising. As we mentioned, most fundraisers are using AI, but many are still wary of losing authenticity. These facts aren't just statistics, they're signals. They tell us that change isn't just a nice idea, it's urgent. Let me circle back to the Children's Center in Detroit, where I had the privilege of serving during the Great Recession. We faced daunting financial and operational challenges, but by rallying leadership around a shared vision, overhauling donor communications, and building a diverse team, we didn't just raise more money. We transformed our philanthropic culture. The real win wasn't the dollars. It was the sense of partnership. Donors, staff, doctors, families, relatives, recipient of services, and community members felt like heroes in a shared story. That's the power of human-centered fundraising. Let's get real for a moment. What would it look like if every donor, staff member, volunteer, those receiving services, and community partner felt like a hero? Valued, heard, and empowered? What would change? What could you achieve together? Pause and imagine that future, because it's possible. Ready to move from inspiration to action? Here are steps you can take right now. The first step is conduct a fundraising audit. Don't just assess revenue. Look at donor retention, team diversity, and stakeholder engagement. What's working? What needs attention? Step 2 is map your donor and community journeys. Identify every touch point. Ask, are we building real relationships or just transactions? Step 3 is pilot a blended approach. Start small. Invite both donors and community members to co-create a campaign or event. See what happens when you blend perspectives. Step 4 is invest in your team. Prioritize training in relationship building, community engagement, and inclusive leadership. Step 5 is measure what matters. Track not just dollars raised, but lives touched, satisfaction scores, and collaborative impact. And the last step is have courageous conversations. Don't shy away from challenging donors or board members when their ideas don't align with your mission or values. Think of these steps as ingredients in a recipe. Alone, each is useful. Together, they create something nourishing and transformative. In my book, Calling All Heroes, I devote a chapter to what I call the hero's journey, implementing the human-centered model. It's about moving beyond divisive debates and embracing a blended, intentional approach. If you're ready to explore this model in depth, check out Chapter 9 of the book. It's packed with practical guides, stories, and tools to help you lead your organization through this journey. Let's lighten things up for a moment. Here's a quick quiz. True or false? The most effective fundraising teams are always the ones with the biggest budgets. True or false? Technology can replace the need for personal relationships in fundraising. True or false? Every person in your organization, regardless of title, can be a hero in advancing your mission. If you guessed false, false, true, you're absolutely right. Share that with your team or on social media. Let's spread the word that heroism in fundraising is about unity, empathy, and action. I want to hear from you. What's one courageous conversation you've had or need to have in your organization? Connect with me on LinkedIn and share your story with me. Let's learn and grow together. If there's one thing I hope you take away from today's episode, it's this. Our sector's strength lies in our ability to unite across philosophies, backgrounds, and roles. The challenges we face are too big for any one hero to solve. But together, we can build organizations where every donor, staff member, board member, volunteer, supporting family member, doctor, community partner, or especially those receiving services, all stakeholders, feels like a valued part of the story. Progress happens when we listen deeply, act courageously, and refuse to let old divisions hold us back. I invite you to join this movement. Share your stories, ask tough questions, and let's rise to the challenge together. Thank you for joining me on the Intentional Fundraiser podcast. If you're ready to move beyond divisive debates and build a truly human-centered approach to fundraising, I invite you to pre-order my new book, Calling All Heroes, at callingallheroesbook.com. Until next time, keep transforming your fundraising so you can transform the world.
The Intentional Fundraiser podcast is a Fundraising Transformed original. I'm Trent Thompson, executive producer, CMO, and head of community at Fundraising Transformed and the Modern Institute for Charitable Giving. The Intentional Fundraiser podcast has been recognized by FeedSpot as one of the top 80 fundraising podcasts on the web. This recognition means so much to us, and it wouldn't be possible without your incredible support, encouragement, and thoughtful engagement. Every listen, share, and conversation has helped us grow and reach more passionate fundraisers like you. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to review and rate it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, and be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen. For resources mentioned in this episode and to subscribe to our Scaling Major Gifts newsletter, visit fundraisingtransformed.com.